Hey there, my name is Maor Sharvit. I'm a visual development artist and instructor at the Animation Club. I want to invite you to my new online class, Introduction to Visual Development for Animation. Over the years, I had the pleasure of learning from incredible artists from all over the world. I went to the animation workshop in Gobla and had the opportunity to work with such companies as Cartoon Saloon, Lighthouse Studios, Nexus, Wharf, and more. Now I feel that it's my time to share some of that knowledge and help new talents develop their skills and get work. In the course, we'll cover many subjects that are essential for designers in animation. We'll start with the very basic principles of design and learn from past masters and also some contemporary ones. After that, we'll focus more on drawing, characters, and environments. I'll share some concepts with you that will help make your designs feel grounded, solid, and exist in space. Later, we'll talk specifically about character design, set design, prop, color, and even cover such topics as world building and art direction. In the end of the course, you'll work on a final project, which will cover everything that we talked about, and it will be a lot of fun. So if you have a great passion for what you do, and the will to put in the work and get to the next level, go visit AnimationClub.school. I'll be waiting for you there.
Hello guys! Today there is a workshop with a character designer, art director, and concept artist, Maor Sharvit. Maor,
Hey
hello.
guys, how's it going?
Tell about
Thanks for
yourself.
having me.
Yeah. Would you please tell about yourself like a couple of words?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Maor. I'm a visual development artist and concept artist in animation. I went to study in the animation workshop. I've been for graduation film in Gobla, and had an internship at Cartoon Saloon where I worked on a movie called My Father's Dragon, which was really cool. It's a really cool place to work in. And after that, had experience with multiple clients in TV, in games, in films. I did some art direction work on a game, and yeah, now I'm kind of doing a course here for animation school. It's called Introduction to Visual Development for Animation, and yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's really nice.
Yeah, right now I will quickly introduce myself. So guys,
Yeah,
hello.
please.
Hello guys, my name is Sonia Kondrashova. Last year I studied at Gobland CalArts at the same time. So it was an incredible journey. Maybe some of you know me by my YouTube videos about the application to both schools. The link to my YouTube channel is in the description somewhere. Yeah, it was a little advertising of myself. So yeah, I think that's all about me. And right now I would like to ask you more about a little bit about your course. So could you please tell me what's the focus of the course? Like maybe if you could highlight some of the assignments you give to guys, like
Yeah,
without
sure.
spoilers.
So basically, there was already one round of the course, which was really awesome. And we're going to start it again at the beginning of October. I think it's the 3rd of October. You should check on the website. And basically what it is we sat down and we tried to put in like everything that's important for visual development, like all the basics, all the very big topics that a visual development artist in animation needs to know. So we start with the very basics of design. We go super abstract at first, like not talking about animation at all. And then later we build it up into the specifics of the profession. So we start with environment design, character design, prop design, color design. And we also talk about, just much broader storytelling stuff like world building and color script and, just telling a story through visuals. So everything in the end kind of builds up into a portfolio piece that's like the final project of the course, where the students kind of get a story, and together we kind of develop a piece that kind of tells this story visually and can also be used as a visual development piece for a portfolio. Oh yeah, and we also talk about portfolio, how to build a portfolio for the industry and kind of put yourself up there for the recruitments.
Yeah, adorable. When you talk about your course, I start wanting to take your course, if I can say that.
Well,
Yeah,
come on, join
yeah.
us.
One day, I am sure, one summer, I will take your course. Yeah, guys, right now, I will make a big announcement. So there are two big events out there in the animation school. So the first event, you can propose right now in the chat or later in the comments if you're not on this workshop online and you're just watching it on YouTube, you can propose the themes for the animation with the character Maor is going to create right now. So Maor is creating a character, and then later, Edward Kurchevsky, our famous mentor, is going to make a animation with the idea of one of you guys. So please write your ideas of the animation into the comments. And another big announcement is that there is a great competition. So you will watch this workshop and you are proposed to make your own personal work and publish it in your social website with a hashtag. The hashtag you can find in the description to this stream. So yeah, basically the hashtag is AnimationClub.school 2D contest. You can find it down below. And of course, you should like mention the the page of Animation Club School. Until the 2nd of October, there will be chosen one best work, and the person who won this competition will be offered either 1 free month of studies at Maor's course, visual development and concept art for animation, or at Edward Skurchevsky course, um, animation.
2D animation, yeah.
Yeah, 2D animation, guys. Yeah, let's participate.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool. So the topic actually is Ape Warrior. That's what the design is going to be about. And next week, Edward will tackle the animation part. So I think every work in that topic would kind of do for the competition.
yeah. So right now, Mauro will show us his video, creation of the character, and make his comments. So let's watch it.
Yeah. So basically, it's not like a live demo. I did the character design based on this topic, Ape Warrior, and I recorded it. And I'm just going to play it for you live and kind of comment on my process and explain how I do things, how I approach it, how I think about it. And obviously, you guys are welcome to type any questions you have, and I'll answer it live. Yeah, so I'm just going to share my screen, right? There we go. I need to see my Facebook conversations. All right, can you see it? One second. I'm sorry, did you see my screen before? Wait.
Yeah, I saw your screen, but unfortunately, I didn't see your video yet.
Yeah, but now can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see your screen, and I see
All right, perfect.
big square.
All right, so let's go. So yeah. So basically, yeah, the topic is Ape Warrior. And the first thing that I do when I start working on a design is just basically going to Google and start learning about my subject matter, what I want to design. And I think here I just looked for apes and interesting natural shapes that occur in them. I was trying to figure out what type of ape I want, and I think at this point I landed on a gorilla. So I started looking at at gorilla videos and how they move, and I really liked how kind of heavy they are, and super strong, and they have this very strong energy with them. So I also looked at some artists who did gorillas in animation that I liked. Not to copy, but just to get inspiration. I think that's also nice. And I started writing down some notes on who this character is. So I was like, he's big and heavy and menacing. Um, and then I started to look at like the armor because he's like a warrior, right? But I think I wanted it to be influenced by certain aesthetic, like cultural aesthetic. So I started to look at Asian armor, Asian warriors from different times, from different countries, and I really liked what I saw in some of those pictures. I think from samurai, especially, because I love samurais. And if you take my course, you'll learn that because there's many examples from samurai movies. And basically, um, I just started collecting those and kind of getting an idea of who this guy is. Yeah, I think I had a phone call at that point. And I remember this movie called Rise of the Planet of the Apes, where there's this huge gorilla who's kind of a character there. So yeah, I kind of took my favorite references that I felt like kind of can serve me the most for this design, and I put them aside. And I saved the file, which is a must. And then I just started playing around. Because to be honest, usually when you get a brief from a client, it's you have a very specific thing that you got to do. But here I kind of kept it loose, just for the fun of it. I knew generally who this guy is gonna be, but I didn't know for sure, and I allowed myself to kind of find things out while I'm sketching. So here I was just playing with shapes, playing with pose, and trying to really create this general feel of a strong warrior, kind of the heavy tank of this army, like the cave troll in Lord of the Rings. So he's kind of the guy that like comes up behind with a heavy weapon and kind of changes the balance of the fight. Um, so yeah, these are thumbnails, by the way, and they're I don't think they're super clear to anyone who's looking at them, like who's not me. I just make those for myself at this point, just to check different ideas. And I think what I'm thinking about mostly is just expression and silhouette. I'm not getting into detail at all. I'm definitely just thinking in really broad terms. You can see already that, I'm trying to learn what makes a gorilla a gorilla. So I kind of got this really elongated skull shape, and these big arms are super strong. When they kind of fight, they're kind of a big part of it. And wait, it's kind of stuck. Yeah, and I kind of chose this one, this thumbnail where he's kind of holding the weapon like that and supporting his weight with one arm. I think I felt like it's a really gorilla-like pose. Kind of like I can imagine how a gorilla would actually take that pose. Wait. Yeah, I'm still thinking if this could work out better. I think at this stage, it's really important to root for all of your sketches, kind of believe in all of them, give them all a good shot. But in the end, just go for the one that you feel like is the best. So I went for this one. And I started immediately kind of blocking in the big graphic shape, but also trying to problem solve. At this point, I'm sorry I'm going like zoom out and in all the time. It's just I guess it's a bit confusing, but it's my way of doing it because I always move from big picture to small picture way of thinking, because it has to work both in like the big terms, like the big shape, the silhouette, but also the details need to make sense and kind of things need to attach. So when I work, I always go out and in all the time. It's kind of a movement that I taught myself to keep doing. Yeah, but here I think that this was the most important part. Like this kind of this is where I figure out, okay, this is what the pose is gonna be, and the general gesture and the shapes. I really like the fact that he has like a smaller part of the body in the back and kind of bigger arms and chest. I want to communicate heavy, dangerous. And at this point, I'm also thinking about shape language. So how I can use graphic shapes to really push that dangerous feeling. And usually what that means in design is adding sharpness. So I thought, okay, gorillas aren't that sharp, but I can try to add sharpness through, the outfit, the armor, and all of that. And maybe use material that that's hard and sharp, and I don't want this guy to be very huggable. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I started playing around with that, and yeah, just looking for different ideas. And I think an important thing in design is to allow yourself to search. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like the arms. Yeah, I really love Tarzan, the Disney movie, and the way they drew apes there. They're like massive. Yeah, so I kind of let myself really just play around and not think too much about, not limit myself, And I think this is where I kind of landed on this spike idea thing, where there's spikes on his armor. Thought this could be kind of a menacing thing. And also, it's not very Asian, right? But at this point, I kind of decided, okay, it's gonna be influenced by Asian culture, but it's not like gonna be completely Asian. I kind of turned it into my own thing. So yeah, and then I started to think about the weapon. Like maybe it's kind of this spiked ball. Yeah, a lot of sketching. Then I get to the face, which is most of the character. This is where kind of the heavyweight of the character design lies. The face. You look at the character's eyes first. That's the first thing you see in a character. So I went for this. And I think also at this point, I realized this guy is kind of it feels like a single note kind of guy. Like he's only serious and menacing. And I felt like that's kind of a boring in terms of character building, character design. So later on, I kind of went ahead and kind of made him a bit smirky, but it's not now. Yeah, also thinking this point about materials, how they sit on his body. Yeah, looking at weapons, getting ideas. Trying to draw through, kind of see what the shape is behind the arm. So it feels solid and kind of makes sense. Yeah. I think that usually if I work with a client, I would just present these ideas already, kind of make 3 or 4 ideas and just show them. But because it was kind of for myself to have fun with, I just kept going back and forth, and I really enjoyed like thinking of different options for what he would wear and what it would mean about the type of army that is part of. Let's move forward a little bit. Yeah, and then I thought of these bandages, that some warriors have, like Ninja Turtles. Yeah, giving a bit of attitude, kind of. Okay, he's not like a tank, really. He's a person. He has a personality. And he's really menacing and big, but he's also I don't know, a bit more defined in terms of his personality. He's not like a boring dude. I like villains that have this smirkness to them, you know. And also playing with shapes that are a bit more angular, less round, even in his body, you know. Really trying to push that idea in there. I think at this point I'm starting to feel like okay, this guy is starting to really become something. I'm trying to get rid of what's not necessary, and there's still stuff that bothers me that I feel like is not completely right for him. So I'm just trying different things. But I think this is what character design is. It's just trying different ideas until one feels kind of clicks, and you feel like, okay, that's my guy, you know. So here I kind of stopped sketching so broadly, and I went more into tie down, which is a step where you're really trying to solve more specific problem, get a bit more into detail, and kind of make stronger statements. So as you can see, things are getting a bit more clear. And yeah. And at this point, I'm also, I don't know, I'm trying to really solve the tensions between the volumetric and the graphic. Big nostrils, thought it could be nice for him. It kind of move as it breathes. And I really like the shape of the skull of gorilla, but I thought maybe we can make it a bit more pushed or interesting in terms of shape, in terms of proportion. Not stay so close to the anatomy, like make it a bit more graphic. Still representing the anatomical truth, but taking it a step forward for the sake of, appeal and exploration, and have fun with it. So I like the idea of having this graphic spike on top of his head where his hairs are kind of doing something. I still don't know what exactly, but I like this idea. So I'm starting to push for it. Making a bit more contrast between the eye part and the jaw part. I made them into two graphic shapes. And yeah, really starting to figure out how this weapon is laying on his shoulder. I went for this round kind of coconut type of armor on his shoulders that I felt could be really playful and graphic to play around with. Yeah. And there's the spikes coming out of them. And there's bits of Asian influenced armor on the bottom side. It's a bit hidden by the arm. Oh, and I kind of decided that maybe it's gonna have chains, connecting things around. Because chain is kind of a sort of a, I don't know, I would say menacing thing. It's associated with prison and war and stuff. So I think it could be a nice thing to add. Yeah, trying to make this guy work. Yeah, maybe open his mouth a little bit, or no. I think I was really indecisive on this one. I went a lot of back and forth. I think it happens because I usually, when you don't know much about a character, like you don't have a proper brief, you'd probably play around more. trying to make decisions as you go. Yeah, I want the arm, like the part where is, of the hand where it's like leaning on, I want it to be a bit more squashed so you can feel the weight on it. Yeah, and then I decided to kind of change the weapon idea into this elongated kind of thing. And yeah, that's about it. Kind of check it back and forth. Make sure things are making sense. And this is where I kind of make final touches before cleanup. Yeah, basically the little ear. I really liked him having a small ear. That could be nice. Figuring out the hands, how they really lay there. Posing hands is actually its own thing. It's super hard to do, for me at least. It's all about keeping it graphic and simple, but at the same time anatomical and volumetric, and also avoiding symmetry and erasing everything, I guess. Yeah. There you go. You see, I'm kind of struggling with the hand there. I'm trying to figure out which finger to push up from the rest. I don't think this is the right one, but we'll see. And also, I kept the top of his head kind of hairy. I'm also trying to think about the hair, the fur, and what's it doing, and how to relate to that, graphically. What shapes to make out of those hairs? Because in the end, what we do is we're simplifying reality. We're creating a simplified, cartoony version of what they really exist there. So that means that we kind of, everything is a choice. Everything, we need to choose how we interpret that, how we're going to present that in that style, in that graphic way of storytelling. Yeah. So as you can see, that motive of spikes is starting to kind of take over, and I like that. I think that it creates a more unique silhouette than before. Oh yeah, now I'm kind of turning. That's also something that's really important, to kind of flip the drawing. So you can see, sometimes you draw for like an hour and then you flip it, and then all of a sudden you see a lot of mistakes because your brain kind of gets used to drawing something, to the picture. So when you flip it, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, there's a lot that's wrong here. So I suggest to do it a lot, flip as much as possible. Even though it hurts like badly, if you draw for a long time, forget to do it, it's kind of painful to all of a sudden see all of the mistakes in your drawing. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm starting to look for a way to kind of clean this guy up. I don't want it to be super clean. I kind of chose a brush that's a bit more rough, and I decided to play around with it, and be a bit more suggestive with my lines. Not make everything kind of close into a shape and everything. Keep some stuff open, and just have more fun with the medium, I guess. So yeah, and also at this point, I'm still kind of problem solving, figuring out exactly what my choices are with some of the elements. For example, the fingers and the hair on his head, and a lot of this other stuff. Yeah. So for me, this is not a complete cleanup because my rough wasn't that clean. My tie-down wasn't that clean. I'm not just cleaning up here, I'm still designing. And to be honest, I prefer that. I prefer it this way. Because when I have a completely tied up drawing where everything is clear, when I come to the cleanup stage, it becomes kind of makes my brain act like on autopilot, where I feel like, okay, this is not the time for decisions. This is just me not ruining everything that's been done before. And I think that for me, it's not a great place to be in, because as I said, it makes me kind of go autopilot, and then I'm not making choices anymore, and it just weakens everything. So even in cleanup, I'm always trying to stay involved with the design. I try to still make changes. As you can see here, I kind of realized, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense with the arm and the weapon. So I kept sort of changing things. There we go. Now the face. Kind of figuring that my brush is too rough for these small eyes, so took another brush and kind of edited it a bit, and decided to kind of use it a bit differently. It's a lot about experiment. There we go. Having some trouble with the round around his eyes, like the round shapes there. I think I kind of settled for this shape. Yeah, a little spike at the bottom of the chin, kind of the fur elongating the shape. There we go. Also trying to find a graphic solution for the hairs there. Flipping it, seeing all the problems and trying to solve them. There we go. At this point, I'm starting to think color. I still have no idea how to color this guy. Simply because I don't have a very specific brief for who he is, but I have a general idea of what I want him to be. And I also want to go a bit more cartoony with his colors, not have him like represent a completely realistic gorilla colors. But at this point, I'm just blocking. I'm just blocking the shape on a layer, on a different layer, underneath the art line. And yeah, I'm using Photoshop to kind of fill in. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm going back to make small changes. Yeah, I feel like something is still missing, but it's not. I'm just being hard on it. So I'm sampling gorilla color. I'm starting to fill out things. But as you can see, I kind of pushed the colors a little bit for a more cartoony kind of vibe. Went a bit more vivid, more chromatic there. And at this point, I'm just filling in. It's kind of a satisfying thing to do, to block in the colors in your design, I think. Because I don't know, it becomes real, kind of, you know. Yeah, and like everything I block, I kind of just ask myself, okay, I'm kind of also trying to imagine the whole color scheme. And I kind of decided that it's going to be kind of a contrast between warms and colds. So the body is going to be on the cold side, and the armor is going to be on the warm side. So we have some contrast, and it's not going to be just one shade, one temperature. So yeah, I'm still messing with the line here, you know. It's never too late. Adding small lines, details, because the closer you get to the final thing, the more obvious it is to you what it's going to look like, and then you're like, it's more obvious what it needs or whatever. I think so. Yeah, and I'm trying not to use a different color for each part. I'm trying to use similar or even identical colors for similar parts, just to not make it like, look like a rainbow. I think when you choose colors for a character, it's important to, I guess, limit. I think I blacked out a little there. I think you need to limit your choices, kind of choose a number of colors and just use them. Because if you don't, it's gonna become messy. And I think this is what design or style are. There are a series of limitations that, because you on a blank page, you can do whatever you want. There's limitless options. And the art is actually making the choices of what to use, or more importantly, what not to use. So getting a bit philosophical there, but it is what it is, I think. So at this point, I'm just trying to find the rules of his color language and what belongs there, what doesn't belong there. I'm also fixing kind of the volume on the fur, kind of how it sits on the bandages. Yeah, really nitpicking on stuff. I think that if I had a deadline, like I didn't have kind of a lot of time to play around with it, I could maybe make a stronger design faster. But since it was in my own terms, just for fun, I kind of started noodling too much, that's also a danger. So yeah, adding some dirt, some other colors there, thinking, oh, maybe it's kind of a silverback. Maybe I can push that, but I don't think it's a great idea. There we go. At this point, I noticed there's a lot of detail that I don't really need on him, maybe. So I eliminated some of the lines, some of the spikes. And I also go to black and white mode sometimes, just to see how it works in terms of readability of the values. Yeah, I love the scar, this really saturated scar in his eye. This is a warrior. He must have had a few difficult times. Oh, and I also added like this, what's it called? Yeah, metal parts that are connecting everything, like the armor together behind his back. His chains. Yeah, now I'm filling them up. And there you go, adding some texture on the skin. And then I'm going a bit more inside and really fixing the blocking, because I was a bit rough before. So I can make it a bit more up there, even though I kind of like the roughness. I like how things are a bit out of the edges sometimes. So I'm trying to preserve that, but not like too much. And yeah, there you go. That's basically the design. A warrior ape. Yeah. Added some blood on the weapon just to have fun with it. But I think what I wanted to do with this guy is just make him fun, and a bit more pushed and cartoony. That's about it.
Yeah, it was a great presentation. Now I really know that I will take your course.
All right.
Thank you so much. It was adorable. Right now we go to the part of the stream where we can ask questions to Maor. And I prepared a couple of questions. And you, of course, can write your questions in the chat so we can read them out loud and hear the answer. So the first question I always ask character designers, which character designers from the industry inspired you? Who are your favorite artists?
That's actually a good question. There's so many, and the list kind of changes all the time, I think. In terms of character design, I would say Carter Goodrich is a big influence. I think it's just amazing. think it's kind of has a very unique language and a way of playing with shapes. And the way he designs is also great for 3D because it's very graphic, but it's also very dimensional. So you look at these designs and it's pretty clear what the forms are. And Nico Marlet, French designer, is really great. I think he's amazing. He's really good with managing detail and texture and patterns. It's really great. You can learn a lot from him. Chris Sasaki is a really inspirational artist for me. I think his designs are super simple, but they just I don't know, intelligent and full of heart. He's not trying to show off. It's just his designs are right on point. Who else? Wow, there's just so many. I don't know.
Yeah,
Every week I have a new art crush.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, all the guys you have talked about right now are my most favorite people. For example, Carter Goodrich, is one of my favorite designers, and his design of Grimmel the Grizzly is like adorable and very inspiring. Yeah, I also like villains. So yeah. And in terms of concept art,
yeah.
Yeah, visual development guys.
It's a good question. I feel like my head is pretty empty right now. But Chris Sasaki definitely is a good designer, more illustrative approach. Who else? You know what? I'm actually gonna cheat here and look at my Pinterest. Let's see. Oh, Dice Tsutsumi, definitely. He's an amazing color artist. It's just brilliant work. I like, let's see who else. Fernando Peque is one of my favorite artists. I think he's great. I love Scott Wills, who worked a lot with Genndy Tartakovsky on Primal and Samurai Jack. He's doing the backgrounds and the concepts. So I think he's really great. And yeah, who else? Fabian Mens. He's kind of a really unique artist where he's like combining really French and really Japanese kind of influences and makes a very unique thing that's all fucked up and very funny, but also super appealing for animation. And yeah, I guess these are some good ones.
Yeah, thank you so much. Some of these names I didn't even hear before, so I'll check them out today. Thank you. The next question I wanted to ask you was maybe you can share like a little bit of your experience of studying at the animation workshop. As far as I know, the animation workshop is the school in Denmark, and right?
Yeah.
Denmark, yeah, and it's very famous because the first schools I heard about from Europe were Gobelin and the Animation Workshop. They also have like lots of amazing films.
Yeah.
Did you like studying there?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience actually. I only finished like 2 years ago, something like that, and I think it really changed me as an artist. We had so many incredible teachers and so many incredible classes. It was mostly like animation oriented. So most of my knowledge, I learned a lot about design there, but most of my knowledge came after I decided to kind of start pursuing design more seriously. But while I was there, I was really into animation. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be an animator, even 3D at some point. But I think when the time came to really decide what I want to do, especially after being in Gobelin, I went to Gobelin for like a semester to work in graduation films. That's where I met amazing animators. that really breathed and lived for motion and movement and acting. And I felt like, oh, I don't think I'm ever gonna be that excited about those aspects. I'm more excited about, um, I guess, shapes and colors and lines and you know the design aspects. So that's kind of when I chose um, to focus more on design. But I'm still like, I love animation, especially 2D animation. Um, so I'm still geeking out about it sometimes. Maybe I'll do it again.
Yeah, it's great. And like about an exchange program with Gobelin, I know that you went for to work with Gobelin at the graduation films, right?
Yeah.
Like if you go, I know that also Colors and Gobelin have this exchange program, and usually guys from Colors go to make NC films. But when you go to the fourth course, like now it's the second course of master's degree, you are usually like involved into making Gobelin graduation film. And which one you worked at?
So I helped on two films. I helped on In Orbit,
Oh,
which was a
yeah.
science fiction one, and Out of Range, which was a bit more illustrative um, film.
Yeah, yeah, I love them. They're adorable. Like it was that year when Gobelin decided to make very not Gobelin style
Oh yeah,
films. Yeah,
I think it's a natural thing that happened when they merged like the internationals together with the classical French course. It kind of
yeah,
happened, but I think it's a really cool thing.
yeah,
Um, so it was a really good experience actually. I think Gobla is an incredible school with incredible staff, and I learned a lot there actually. There, I also met one of the teachers, one of the guiders of the art was Louis Thomas.
oh,
Is yeah, he worked for Pixar and Illumination, really a lot of studios. But he's just an incredible artist who has a very unique style, and I don't know, just his work is unmistakable. And I get to meet him there. Was one of my favorite artists, still is, and he really helped me out. And he also gave me advice on my personal work and my portfolio. And for me, that was like everything. It was such a great opportunity. Um, yeah.
yeah. From my experience, I can only say that I just had an opportunity to study from Jesse Eklund at CalArts. He's very famous. Just he worked for pretty every studio in Los Angeles and like
What's his name?
um Jesse Eklund.
Jesse Acklin. Oh, the character designer.
Yeah, yeah. He was our teacher, and
Oh,
I was able to take his course twice, like during the year.
wow. That's awesome.
Hooray!
I got his book.
He's funny and cool. Yeah. Um, Also, what I would like to ask you about is your experience of internship in Cartoon Saloon because it's like a great studio. It's very famous.
Yeah, especially now, right? With
Yeah,
Wolfwalkers.
after the Wolfwalkers, it was incredible. I was at the premiere at NC, and
Wow.
there was a giant queue to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super exciting. To be honest, when they when you're looking for internship, you're just applying everywhere. And when they kind of wrote back to me, I was like kind of surprised. Also, because if I have to be honest here, I didn't really watch a lot of their stuff. I just knew they were cool, and I wasn't like a fanboy like a lot of people are still, like at that point. So when they kind of wrote me back and kind of offered me the internship, I started really digging in and looking at their stuff and really learning about them more, and I found that it makes a lot of sense for me to go there. So I accepted it, and then started my year in Ireland in Kilkenny, and it was a very cool experience. Actually, I think the studio is really unique because they're making really high quality stuff. They have amazing artists working there. Actually, even James Baxter animated on Wolfwalkers, and I got to meet him and talk to him and stuff. Um, there's just so much inspiration, so much talent, so much craft, and I think what's really cool about a studio is that it's still kind of small. Yeah, like it's kind of an indie studio, so the atmosphere is really that of a family. Um, like Nora Toomey, the director of the movie I worked on, she was just super sweet. You could just talk to her and just, how are you doing and stuff. There is no real distance, of course, with respect and everything. But um, there's a feeling like everyone is there for each other and it's okay to kind of hang out. And it's also Kilkenny. It's a really small place, and it's kind of there's a feeling of a community there. So after work, you'd meet like Tom Moore and a lot of really cool people just and have a beer with. And I think in that way it's really unique.
Wow. And like it was for the whole summer, right? Like the internship.
I think it was a few months.
Few months.
Yeah, but then I stayed in Kilkenny because I worked for the other studio that's kind of partners with Cartoon Saloon. It's called Lighthouse Studios. So I worked on a few productions there. And then I decided to kind of move to Paris.
And how do they manage all the stuff, like all the internships? Are you just given some assignments like in Disney? I know that in Disney people are pretty much given a mentor and they're making some exercises for their portfolios. And
Oh,
in Cartoon Saloon.
no, I was just a part of production.
So yeah, so you just worked as character designer.
Yeah. I did also some prop designs, but yeah, I was part of the art department. And at first, they gave me a few, kind of stuff to do just to get used to the style and play with it, with the characters, do some poses of the existing designs. But after like a week or so, I kind of already started getting like assignments, and that's when it was super exciting, but also super frightening, because you have these meetings of like with the director, and everyone's showing their assignment, and we talk about it, and we get critique, and it's a bit scary at first, to put your work there. You still didn't graduate.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great place to be in that spot, because people are super nice and super kind, and they're all about making great work, about telling great stories, but they also care about the people there, and I think that's what makes it what it is.
Yeah, it's a great experience. I also wanted to ask you, like, what are your plans for the future? Which studios would you like to work for?
It's a good
Like,
question.
yeah, or just who would you like to be when you grow up? It's a common question.
I'm 30. I'm not gonna grow up anymore. um, I don't know. I never really worked for one of those really big studios, like Disney or Pixar. I feel like it could be a cool experience just to be surrounded by this type of people, this type of talent, and learn how they do things there in such a unique environment. And I see myself more focusing in 3D productions now. After working on 2D productions, I felt like 3D is more interesting for me to design for, since you get to do more with pattern and texture and detail. And I guess that's part of what I like. And I also like how 3D is kind of evolving lately with movies like Spider-Verse and everything that Sony is doing. Basically, Sony is kind of leading there. I think that there's a lot of unique stuff that you can do design with. And for me, that's what's exciting right now. So definitely, Sony people, if you're seeing this, I'm ready. I got my luggage here.
Yeah, and about work. Yeah, this summer it was my first time and I got offered a job, and it was like my first time working for, how to say, for a person who wants something from you. So I didn't understand prior to taking this job that designing for production could be as difficult, because sometimes you just get upset because your boss doesn't like what you like? And
Mm.
like, how do you manage the situations? Like,
Um, it's a good question. I think when you finish school, there is a lot that you need to kind of change in your perception, in your mentality. Because when you're in school, you're like, well, if you go to this kind of school, you're like the boss, you know, they're here for you to teach you, or at least that's how it should be. Because it's your time to experiment, to find your voice, to do stuff that you're not going to get the option to do in a workplace usually. But after that, when you start working in a company, it's not so much a situation anymore. You're gonna start. You need to produce work. You know, you gotta. I don't know. Make. You gotta. It's gotta be obvious why they want you there. You know, they're paying you, so you gotta deliver, I guess. And when I get on a project, I really put my ego aside and my own preferences aside, and I'm trying to wear that hat of I don't know, um, an employee. I'm here to do my job. I think that's the most important thing to do. Even if you're an amazing artist with great taste, doesn't matter. If you took the project, you're here for them, and you got to deliver. I think you got to have some modesty, and on your own time, definitely do what you like. But on when they pay you, it's pretty obvious. You gotta be serious and professional about it. And if you're lucky enough, you can also get hired for projects that excite you. So there isn't that much conflict between your artistic preferences and what you're doing for work.
yeah, I always needed to remember that actually it's not my project, but no, it's my project. I'm working for it. But at the same time, I'm just the hands of my boss because he doesn't know how to draw and I do. So I'm like bringing to life his ideas. So actually, I just always had to remind myself that it is not my personal film. I am not like it's not my student film. When I will be doing my films, I will bring all my I will do whatever I want. So right now I just need to get used to it and work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. So now that are all my questions, and now I will just try to find some questions in the comment section. Let's find it. Um, sorry.
That's
I.
okay. I'm also starting to read some of them.
Mhm. Oh, Andrew Sharp asks if the color is going to be a part of the course.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're gonna talk um, about color, how to use color for designs, but also about specifically color script, which is something that um, just you gotta do in production. So it's gonna be about color, but it's also gonna be about light theory. Gonna talk also about rendering, and to me, it's all kind of connecting together. So the technical aspect and the design aspect of it.
So, Monica Marino asks if you make simpler versions of your concepts for animations to work on, or is that decision, I guess, up to the director and like art director? So, do they ask you to make the design simpler if you work for 2D animation? I guess.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I think so. I think in 2D you usually need to be simpler. You got to use simpler shapes. But this time I wasn't really working on for a 2D film. It was for a feature, 3D feature in my mind. So I didn't really care about limiting for details. Also, it's like Edward's problem. I don't care. He's gonna have to deal with this.
Oh yeah.
And he likes to. He likes complicated designs, I
Yeah,
think.
I get him. I also like to suffer.
But
When I
for the contest, so just to make sure I get it right, so you can participate in the contest if you make a design based on topic, which is Ape Warrior. Or
yeah.
alternatively, if you are into animation, you can make an animation beat or test of an Ape Warrior. But I don't think you have to design my character. You can if you feel like it. That'll be pretty cool, actually. But you can also choose your own character design or a different character design. I don't know.
Yeah, and up to the 2nd of October, there will be one person chosen, and they will be given a free month of
Month.
the course, either Maor's course or Edward's course. So
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity. So guys, yeah, participate. Now I also want to participate. I'm so inspired.
Do it. Come
Yeah.
on.
There are also a couple of questions in the chat. So guys, I'm sorry. I hope that I'm pronouncing names correctly, but please don't be mad at me if I do it wrong. So Chepe Perazza asks, what characteristics should the design of a character have to be easy to animate? And do you have any advice?
Hmm. It's a really good question, to be honest. I think there's a big range of what can be animatable. A character can be a bull with two eyes, and it can also be something as mechanical and complex like the Iron Giant. Um, I think for 2D animation, it's important to make the big shapes simple and the volume simple. So it's easy to turn dimensionally and it's easy to control. There are exceptions for that. For example, in anime, there's a lot of designs that are super complicated. So yeah, I don't know. I think you can always push it further. But in general terms, in 2D, you want to keep simple shapes, simple, and not have too much pattern or texture or detail. Just keep it as simple as possible. And in 3D, it's a bit more open. Um, but I think design is such a wide thing. And right now, all the mediums are kind of merging into each other. You see even stop motion using 3D and 2D and 3D looking like 2D. And I think it's starting to be, the lines are starting to kind of move around.
Okay. Then next question is Andrew Sharp asks, what are some of the aspects of character design do you cover? For example, posing, model sheets, expressions.
Hmm. Like in the course, you mean?
Yeah, I guess it's about the
Okay,
course.
so in the course, we're not going to do model sheets. That's going to be for the advanced course. But in the course I'm giving now, it's more about the actual design, how to design a character, how to think about shape language, about posing, about graphic versus volumetric, about pattern, texture, how to bring a personality and heart and soul into your design and tell a story with it and make it answer a brief and be right for the time and the place where the story is taking place. And all of these things that, just combining all of these filters, they make like a solid design that works for a story. That's what we kind of talk about. But the next course is going to be about like character design, visual development for advanced. That's going to be more about the technicalities of what it means to be a visual development artist, which means, make production sheets, for example, pose sheets and turnarounds and all that small technical stuff that you got to know there. Yeah.
Yeah, and how many courses will you have? So you basically right now have the
Introduction to visual development.
introduction, like base level course, and then you are going to have an advanced course. So there will be two courses, right?
Yeah, but they're all part of a big kind of program. Anyone can sign up just for one course and decide, okay, that's it. But if you're interested in the program, you can kind of go from one course to another. So there is the intermediate, the first one, the introduction. There is going to be the intermediate, which is the more advanced, and then there is going to be the one that Andres Itari is going to be in charge of, which is yeah, I think it's going to be the advanced one. That's like the third one, and it's going to be about designing for a film project, a short film project, and they're going to work together with the animation students from the school, from animation school.
Yeah,
Um,
it will make it much more interesting and easier for the guys who make the films with
yeah,
Edward to start sooner. Because when we created our films, we were like alone. We had to create character design, like visual development and stuff. So you guys will have much more time,
yeah,
basically.
and this way you can also finally work on a production and kind of see your designs come to life in a film, which is really unique. I think it's a really great opportunity, and I
So
think that's a good option for online courses, because right now you don't get this opportunity so much in online education. I think what Animation School is doing here is creating a program that's really mimicking the the art school, animation school experience, like Go Blau, the animation workshop, or Colors. I think it's really cool.
yeah, and how does the course operate? So you like every time you give the students a live demo, right? Or you have some pre-recorded stuff?
No, no, it's all live. It's all online in real time for now. We just meet once a week. Usually it's on Sunday, and I give a lecture. And every week I also give an assignment. And like the next week I'm gonna give critique for the assignment and also another lecture. So basically each week you get a critique and a lecture and another assignment.
Mhm.
And in the end of the course, it's gonna be a bigger assignment. So we're gonna spend like 3 or 4 weeks on it. I think it's gonna be kind of a graduation project, and that's when we're gonna focus more on critique.
Yeah, now I see that Ella Fretman asks, what's the deadline for the challenge? And the deadline for the challenge is the 2nd of October, right? So it's the deadline for competition. And the for proposing your animation ideas, like the deadline, I guess, is in a couple of days, because I know that the stream with Edward is going to be at the 26th of September. So if you propose your animation ideas right now, it will be a good thing. So
Yeah,
your idea can be
just
picked
write
up.
everything. Make his life
Yeah,
really
like
difficult.
write
Make
what's hard.
make everything you want the API design to do. Like,
And your idea might be brought to life. It's like the most
can I
adorable
submit some
thing.
ideas just for the fun of it?
Me?
I I think it would be really nice if he did some ballet dance, and I think that it could be really nice if he fought his two twin brothers at the same time. That's
It's a
for
good
Edward to
idea.
check out. You can choose, but just my input.
Okay. And you guys can propose your ideas just right now. So do it. Write it in the chat. Yeah, there are more questions. Is a character based on a theme of the animation, or the theme is based around the character design? Like, I guess it's a question about the general.
Um, I think it all goes down to the animation pipeline. Usually you would start with a script, and then you'll go into storyboards at the same time as visual development. And at the same time, the story will start to take place together with the visual aspects of it. And only after that, after you know what the characters look like and they work for the story, then the animators will start to come in and make the shots for the movie. But design and story comes first.
Yeah, because like the part of the pre-production.
Yeah, I also
Yeah.
the first lecture on the course, I kind of tell everything about the animation pipeline, what the different stages are. Um, yeah.
Yeah, there are more questions in the chat. Okay. Julia Zvereva writes that will you change some details in your design if the modeler tells you it's hard to model it, or if he thinks he sees some mistakes or something?
Of course, I think when it comes to modeling, it's kind of a back and forth because it's never gonna be exactly like your drawing, because drawing is you can think dimensionally, but it's still like a flat kind of medium. So when you start turning things around, there's kind of problems and questions emerging, and there's always a need for interpretation. So definitely, definitely.
And is simplification in charge of art director, or you can just talk to the guys who model stuff?
Depends on production. If you work at Disney and there's like hundreds of people, each person has a different job.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if it's a small production, like for example, the game I worked on, you talk right straight to the modeler and just discuss things. I think that's a beautiful part of working in a small production, and also working in the office. Because you get to look behind people's shoulders and annoy them, and I like doing that.
Okay, next question. Do you have a personal story or film idea in mind that you would like to develop someday?
Of a film,
Yeah, like film or a story, I guess. Yeah.
I um, have a personal story from my personal life, but I'm still playing around with it. I don't think it's time for me to direct a film at this point. At this point in my life, I'm more interested in getting better at what I'm doing and become a stronger designer and enjoy different projects. And maybe at some point, if that idea still feels relevant to me or important, or it could be a different idea, I will just make a film. But I think it would be a nice box to check, in your bucket list to direct a movie.
Yeah, actually, it's like a great idea for the future.
Yeah,
I guess
because at
that's
school I never really directed my own film. I only worked on other people's productions. Um, so I think it taught me a lot professionally. But yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice to also do my own thing, be the boss for once.
yeah. So, are there any questions you guys want to ask more right now? Write them in the chat. So, yeah, it's your last chance to ask questions. Please do it right now. Um, yeah, right now we can just talk about production, I guess, while guys are thinking. I hope they will ask some like few more questions. So maybe you can tell us a little bit how what it's like to work in the studio, like what it's like to be around people, because after pandemic we all work online and mostly even study online, so we don't know what it's like to see people around you.
Oh, so
Even better than working online, actually.
oh, it was so different when I was younger. Um, I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's nicer to be surrounded by people. I think it's a good opportunity to learn. You learn faster, and communication is easier, and get proper breaks. Because when I work alone, I don't give myself enough breaks because I feel guilty for taking too much breaks. So I keep
Yeah.
overworking myself, and I think I think that in a studio, like the whole break taking thing, it emerges more organically into your needs. Feel less stressed. You're more in communication with your superiors, so it's easier to know where you are in terms of like where you need to be and stuff. I don't know, just my sack. But yeah, I think for me it's nicer. But it's also nice stuff about staying at home. For example, you can um, work in your underwear, which is great.
Definitely.
I'm not doing that right now, by the way, just to be clear. And you can, I don't know, kind of, if it's possible in the production, you can plan your day in different ways, like start the shift a bit later and finish late at night, kind of organize your schedule a bit better. I don't know. I think that's about it.
Yeah. So there are more questions.
There's really nice comments here.
What's your favorite part of the process? The beginning, middle, or end? Like of the design process.
In design?
Yeah, I guess. If we're talking about design and visual development?
I would say, it's a really good question, which I don't have a straight answer for. I like the end because you get the satisfaction and the adrenaline of like, I finished something and it's mine. But I also like the beginning because that's where it's like you're playing around with things. You can be playful and look for options, and it can be very, very fun. And also like the middle because it's kind of after you made the important decisions and you get to actually do the thing, kind of develop tie down. Yeah, but I think every step is also kind of scary because at first you're like, fuck, what am I gonna do? There's so many options. And in the middle, you're like, oh, I chose something, I don't want to ruin it, so I have to be really careful. And in the end, you're scared that I don't know, it looks like shit and it's too late. So it's always kind of, it's this, ball of like anxiety and fascination and fun, but also stress. And I don't know, that's what it means to be an artist, I guess.
Okay, Ella Fretman
Really bad
asks.
answer.
Don't worry. What film or artist inspired you to become an artist yourself?
Actually, that's an easy answer. When I was young, my parents did the fatal mistake of buying me the collector edition of Beauty and the Beast, and it was like a big box where you had like two cassettes. Cassettes were the thing that came before DVDs, and one of them was the movie, and the other one was the behind the scenes kind of movie, like video. And I remember watching it around the age of 5, and that's when I saw Glenn Keane kind of showing how he came up with the design for the beast, and he's like animating and moving the pages, and I was just in love with it. I was like, wow, you can do that and be an adult. Like that's what I'm gonna do. So I kind of decided, and I told my parents at a really young age I'm gonna be an animator. Just because I didn't know, I thought everyone who works in animation is an animator. So that's what I decided I want to be. And nobody managed to convince me otherwise. So that's where that's what I'm still doing. And I think it's a beautiful art form and a beautiful profession. And it's also something that keeps evolving, and it's like a big part of mainstream culture. So there's a huge amount of people who are interested in that. There's a big audience, and that's an exciting part about it. Yeah, so that was the movie for me, I guess. But I grew up on all the Disney animated movies. Like some of my favorites were Hercules and Tarzan. People don't speak enough about Tarzan. Tarzan is a good movie, and I want people to appreciate Tarzan more because it's awesome. And Tarzan is a really good character design.
There are really a bunch of questions in the chat. Do you recommend any book to learn character design or to improve your character design? Do you know maybe some, really design books out there?
Steven Silver has a great book for character design where he's really covering the different topics of it. I forgot the name, but check Steven Silver character design book and you'll find it. Um, there's a bunch of books on drawing for cartoons and animation. I think Drawn to Life is a great book, which I was introduced to at school. They made us read it, and it really helped me kind of turn my drawings into more story-oriented drawings. What else? There isn't that much literature that I know of on character design specifically. But I think if you want to be a good character designer, you got to learn first about design generally and about drawing. I think character design is kind of made of these two things, like design and drawing, and they're kind of combined in a way. Because a character design, in the end, it's a selection of shapes and colors and proportions and ideas. So this is like the design parts, and there's also a drawing. It's a character drawing, so it has to have a gesture and volumes and anatomy and expression and all of this stuff and texture, everything that a good drawing has to have, and they're kind of merged in a really weird way together. And you can always have a design push more towards the drawing aspects and a bit more towards the abstract design aspects. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just philosophizing, but I think these are the main two things you need to learn.
Can you recommend some exercises for practice to integrate backgrounds and characters?
Oh, to draw like characters in a background? Um, it's hard. I won't lie to you. That's why a lot of people do either environments or characters. But to make them both work well, it's a bit hard. But I think in the end, it's really about knowing how to draw dimensionally and in perspective. Because if you can take a box and draw it in any angle, in any type of perspective, then you can, put any character in it. Because all characters are basically to draw them in different. I talk about it in the course, but to draw them in different poses, you gotta actually know what the simple shapes and volumes are. And once you know those, it's a lot simpler to kind of really draw them from different angles. There is no easy answer for it. It's just practice and learning the basics of drawing in perspective and volumetric drawing.
Great. Next question is actually very important. Rabia J asks, do you have any advice for what to include in a portfolio for character design?
Characters. Actually not as many of them. I would say around 15 to 20 pages is a good number. Include only your best work. Don't give them a reason to not hire you. And organize it in a way that is appealing to look at. So start with your best work, continue to your third best work, and finish with your second best work. That's how you kind of create these two bookends that are the most awesome stuff from your body of work and kind of give a complete feeling, and you leave a good taste in the end. That's a tip that I got back in the day, and I think it's still good. What else? There's a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to presenting the work on a website, and I get more into that on my course. But I think if I had to leave you with one word, is show versatility. Show that you can do different types of things in terms of style, in terms of subject matter, draw animals and people. Go more realistic and super cartoony, just so the person who is looking for a designer feels more comfortable that you can do what they want you to do, I guess. Because style is a big deal, actually. People don't think about it, but it doesn't matter if you're an amazing designer. If you don't have anything on your portfolio that is resembling the style that they're looking for, they're just not going to call you. So try to cover as much as possible.
And do you recommend like putting into your portfolio only polished pieces or also showing your roughs?
show your roughs, definitely. But you know, they don't have to be pretty, but they need to be the type of rough that is clear, that you look at it and you get it, you know. Like, don't show a thumbnail, that means something just for you. Include roughs that if someone looked at them, they'll be okay. It's not pretty, it's not finalized, but I get the intention. That's a good rough to include. So definitely include that. And I think recruiters like seeing rough work, because usually you'd have to, when you work as a designer, you need to submit to show a lot of rough, because you don't spend your time polishing everything. Yeah, it's only what the director chooses. So you need to kind of show choices, and sketches are the way to do that.
Okay. Are there any online courses from other artists that you wish to join someday? Who are those artists and why?
um, I don't know. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I've taken some already, and I'm always interested in taking more. I think there's many great platforms. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Which artists did you study from already? Because I'm very curious about it.
Which artists I studied?
Yeah, like who are your mentors? Like which courses did you take already? I know
Oh,
that there are a bunch of platforms like Schoolism and stuff.
I
But
learned from the first course I took online was in a school called Frame by Frame, and the instructor was Avner Geller. He's an Israeli artist who works. He worked years in DreamWorks as a visual development artist and character designer, and he was really kind and shared a lot of knowledge. And we're still in touch to this day. I think he really helps me out when I need some advice. And I also learned with Guy Borelli, who's another dude he's a great animator, and he works as storyboard supervisor. He used to be in Illumination and in DreamWorks and a lot of places. So yeah, and in both cases, I was lucky enough to kind of meet the teachers later on in real life and kind of hang out with them as people, and stay in touch. So I think it's really valuable to have a relationship with your instructor or teacher. And I also the same with like the schools I went to, the animation workshop and Gobla. Um, yeah, Ed Louis Thomas will also help me in Gobla, and in the animation workshop there is a ton of great teachers, mostly animation oriented. But I got a bit of a blackout. I don't have the names now, but there's a lot of great teachers that influenced me.
there are more questions in the chat. Jishnu Chakraborty asks, in the production, how much time do you get to design a character? What what are the deadlines do you get? So, yeah.
It really depends on the production. Could be once on a project for a commercial. Once I was asked to design like 10 characters in a shift. It was pretty crazy. Um, but if they have more money or time, it could be a character a week, just exploring and really showing different um, poses and stuff. Character design is a wide thing. It can be just one drawing or painting, or it could be like the whole production sheets of that character. So it depends on what they want, and it depends on the production.
Okay, next question by Selvaraj Paramazivan. Guys, I'm sorry again if your names are very difficult to read. Sorry if I pronounce them wrong. Um, they ask, they say, hi, I'm a 2D artist. My question is, nowadays, lots of presets and templates available for 2D and 3D animations and illustrations. So what about our future? I'm afraid of artificial intelligence.
Well, you should be. because it's frightening
Yes.
and it's gonna take all of our jobs. Yeah, I think AI is moving forward really fast, and it's becoming more and more intelligent. And you can already see people using it in experimental art pieces and stuff. There's like AI is writing scripts and stuff. It's scary. It's fascinating, but it's also scary. Um, I think it could replace parts of the process that will make our lives easier. And in that way, it's a good thing. Um, but if you're talking about the deeper, more meaningful level of things, I think that in the end, yeah, it could replace artists. Unfortunately, I hope to die before that happens.
Yeah, a good point. So right now there are no more questions in the chat. Like, guys, if you still want
We
to,
ended on a really dark one.
maybe we should talk about something happy before the stream ends because
What's your
it has
opinion on
been.
rainbows? No, I don't know. It's okay. Stay positive and design and work as artists. Actually, if you're talking about AIs, we're gonna be the last ones to stay. You know, they're gonna replace drivers and stuff first. So let's stop talking about it, right? Okay.
Yeah, I have actually a good question. So why did you choose to live in Paris?
um, it's a great question. I think I just had a blast of an experience when I lived here for at Gobelin, not at Gobelin, when I went to Gobelin. Um, that's also a time when I met some friends and I made good connections and relationships. And after living a year in Ireland and getting a bit, I don't know, depressed with the whole COVID situation and the lockdowns that were really long, I needed a change and I remembered Paris for the best. So I moved there. And obviously, I had in mind the relationships that I had with people, the friendships, but also I find the artistic and the professional scene in Paris to be super exciting. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of really talented people to meet and learn from, a lot of exhibitions always moving on in and out, a lot of museums. So in that way, I'm really attracted to this place.
Yeah, there are a couple of more questions in the chat. What has been your favorite design you did so far?
Mm,
Maybe you can show it to us.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. I see. I think every work I do, I look at it and I see how it could be better or how I want it to be better in my next work. It's hard to point out like one that I like the most. I think one of the ones that I had a lot of fun working on were the Mongol story ones, especially Jishu. If you look at my portfolio or Instagram, you can find those.
Okay, next question. What type of projects or productions do you like to work in?
I think we kind of covered that.
Yeah, I guess it's about like you like to work on 2D animation. Yeah, so next question. Do you prefer to work full-time for a studio or work project to project as a freelance artist?
Um, I don't know. I think there is nice stuff about both. Right now, I would love to. I think with COVID and everything, I kind of got really into this freelance rhythm of things. So I moved between shorter types of productions. But I would love to have a longer experience at a studio. Maybe a couple of years, really, really kind of merging myself in the atmosphere and the style and the pipeline and everything. That would be a cool experience.
Okay, I don't see any more questions in the chat. So
I think
I
we
don't.
had enough. We had a
Yeah,
good amount.
we have already talked for 1 hour and 40 minutes, and it's a good number, I guess.
Yeah,
So yeah,
gonna have to drink.
yeah, once again, guys, I would like to remind you about our two competitions. One is not really a competition, but it's a little challenge. So you again propose stuff right now in the chat, like propose your ideas for the animation with the character Maor showed you how he created right now, the ape warrior. You just propose little ideas for the animation, and they will be brought to life by Edward Kurchevsky the 26th of September. So, like in a couple of days. So, if you are watching this YouTube stream just as a recording on the YouTube channel, write your ideas in the comment section. Another great competition is creating your own character using the idea we talked about today. So again, the ape warrior. So you create your own ape warrior and post their design in your social websites. Of course, tagging the Animation Club School. Don't, I guess, you shouldn't confuse it with the Animation School. So the Animation Club School has the orange peak. Yeah, and you also should write the tag. And the tag is mentioned in the description. You can find it. And the best work chosen, the author of the best work will get 1 free month of studies either at Maor's class, or in Edward Kuchevsky class. So either visual development for animation or animation itself. So yeah, write comments and subscribe to this channel, of course, because there are always such webinars and workshops going on, and we're always glad to see you here.
Yeah, and feel free to approach the school page on Instagram for more questions, or even me if you find me on Instagram. I'd love to help you out. So
Yeah, guys, and if you want to know about application to Gobelin Colors, also you can find me in the Instagram. I'm Oblaket, as always. Yeah, hoping to hear from you soon. I guess that's all, right?
all right. Well, thanks for having me. It was a really good time. I hope I I gave some nice answers and that you enjoyed the demo. And thanks for taking care of everything, Sonia. It was really nice.
Thank you.
All right, take care, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Goodbye. See you.